Meanwhile, Donald Trump has alleged an unprecedented weaponization of the justice system just hours before he is to appear in a Washington courtroom to answer charges of conspiracy to overturn the 2020 presidential elections. Now, Donald Trump, who has his eyes set on the 2024 White House race, has accused the sitting president, Joe Biden, of ordering the Justice Department to charge him with, quote-unquote, as many crimes as can be concocted against him, forcing him to spend time and money defending himself in the courtroom rather than spending time on the campaign trail. Now, Trump will be arriving at a federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., where he'll be arraigned in a bit. The U.S. Justice Department has accused the former president of spreading lies and trying to overturn the 2020 presidential elections. He's also accused of orchestrating the rioting that took place on the 6th of January in 2021 in a bid to hamper a peaceful transfer of power. And ahead of the hearing, the workers have put up barricades outside of the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. And this is the third time in 4 months that former U.S. President Donald Trump is being charged with criminal offenses. This even as he's campaigning to regain the presidency in 2024. And Trump's latest indictment, in which he's charged with trying to overturn the 2020 election results, is probably the most serious of all the charges that he presently faces. All right, now to give us more insights in terms of what, of course, is unfolding at this moment in the United States of America, we're being joined in by our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us live from New York. Now, Susan, this is a serious charge that Donald Trump seems to be leveling against the Justice Department of the United States of America. He says that the Justice Department, at the behest of the sitting president, Joe Biden, is weaponizing its processes and procedures. Give us a sense of what's unfolding at this moment in terms of Donald Trump's legal woes, and how is this playing on the minds of the Republican supporters?
Yeah, well, this particular incident and this indictment is very tricky. On the one hand, it is a very serious crime, but on the other hand, it's unprecedented. And prosecutors have to prove that Donald Trump truly did not know or understand the fact or believe that the elections were not stolen and that he lied anyway. I mean, proving that is going to be extremely difficult. It's never happened before. And a lot of Republicans and lawyers are saying that, this falls into the freedom of speech issues when it comes to dealing with something like this. And then you have Donald Trump, of course, talking about the weaponization of the Justice Department. The reason for that is, and many Republicans will agree with him, is that Donald Trump will be President Joe Biden's biggest rival. And that some of the things, at least, that he's being accused of, well, regarding the documents, for example, former President Obama had documents. I mean, you can say he was writing a book. There's always an excuse. Hillary Clinton, who was Secretary of State, she destroyed documents before the government could come and confiscate them. Bill Clinton. So there is this feeling that there is a two-tier justice system, not only among Republicans, but some independents as well. They're wondering, why is it that there is so much talk, perhaps, around the Biden family, Hunter Biden, and perhaps the president's involvement in his son's business dealings, but the indictments only come against Donald Trump. And that's where we really see this anger on the part of the Republicans and divisions between Republicans and Democrats as well. I just want to say that today's proceeding is an arraignment. He's going to finally find out what exactly he's being charged for in Washington, D.C. And there's an option for him to appear virtually, but it appears that he will be there in person in court.
Absolutely, indeed. And also, how does this play on the minds of the American voters? One can, guess as to what the Republicans are thinking. Probably they may look at Donald Trump a bit more sympathetically if he says that he's a victim of a witch hunt by Joe Biden's administration and the justice system, which is being manipulated to go after him. But how does a common American voter, the undecided American voter, look at what is unfolding with Donald Trump's cases so far?
If you go towards we look towards that New York Times Siena poll that we talked about a few days ago, there are voters that say none of the above. They don't like Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Based on that vote, if they had the chance and had to pick one, they would pick Joe Biden, because ultimately those people that don't like either president say that they think that former President Trump did do something wrong. But then you have the independent voters who are basically leaning towards either or. Most people will ultimately vote with their pocketbooks, but there's no doubt that the media frenzy around Donald Trump has made a lot of voters to think about these issues, and against Joe Biden as well. You can really say that it's sucked out the energy of other candidates who are desperately trying to talk about policy, and they can't because the news cycle is just saturated with Trump, and Biden on the other side and their legal woes.
Absolutely. That's something that needs to be looked at. This wall-to-wall coverage that Donald Trump seems to be getting because of these legal cases against him will surely play in favor of him, or at least that is what the Trump supporters would, of course, say. Thank you very much indeed, Susan Tehrani, for joining us and getting us all those insights there.